And then another page would be.
All right, welcome back to the Nexus Podcast. Pedro Umbelino, Principal Research Scientist at Pitsight, is the guest in San Francisco at RSA Conference. And Pedro is doing a talk this week that has absolutely the best title of all the sessions I saw on the agenda, Blowing Up Gas Stations for Fun and Profit. So we're going to talk about this research. Welcome, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, the title is an homage to the famous paper.
Absolutely.
The other part is.
So tell everybody a little bit about kind of your day-to-day at Pitsight research team.
So we have a very big operation for deliver what we do. We scan the internet every day. Like we had to develop our own internet scanner just because of how big the operation is. We scan more than 4 billion. So the entire IP before address space was centers.
Sure.
We see a lot of stuff. And some of the stuff that we see should be online. So it's a recurrent problem. Part of those systems that are on ICS they, as you know, they are not very fond of being scanned.
Right.
Being extra careful. So we started to build our own ICS labs internally and figure out new ways how can we safely and properly identify the protocols that these devices need, how to interact with them in safe manners. So that's kind of my day-to-day research. Sometimes very focused on. Other times it's focused on major security incidents like this CrowdStrike thing.
Yeah.
Can we have visibility into those events too because of the data sets that we have? So I sometimes do research that. Sometimes I do malware research too. So I'm not dedicated to one single area of security since I like them all. I find it very
Sounds fun.
It is.
That's super fun. So how did you land on automated tank gauging systems, which is kind of the core of this research?
The core, right? So I was looking at those ICS protocols that we see, and it was like years ago, give or take, I saw this ATG protocol they flagged out. I went look, and I thought, automated tank gauging. This is fun, right? It's an ICS system that controls like fuel tanks. I wonder if it's safe or not. So I started to do some research. I had a clear intent. How much damage can I do?
Sure.
Because I have one security background. Fantastic in another lab. Security research. So it's my mind. So during the course of that investigation, I actually find out this ADG protocol had problems that had been flagged in the past. Chatterix 2015 already flagging, hey, this is an unsafe protocol. So I look into the protocol, look into the specs, find out some other stuff that's there, and then I look into newer devices. So are newer devices being made that can also have other stuff?
Right.
So I kind of was born other devices.
Slide behind you.
So I feel like a lot of stuff is happening on this protocol that's really important. Checking tank levels and shut off valves, etc. You look how prevalent these things are.
So back in 2015, I think the overall scans showed around 6,000 devices.
Anyone with Lego figures?
We are seeing just for the old protocol, like the ADG protocol, like you're seeing over 9,000 devices now in 2015. The reason is we are seeing more, not just because there are more devices, but we also scan on standard more. That's some integrated change or use some other non-standard way of deploying it for a while, but there are some a bit more devices. Because of that, there's also
30.
possibility for putting a 6-digit security
I'm trying to do
code
my
on those
age.
devices.
Okay.
You can also find those, but they're not very prevalent.
Get a little bit stronger.
And is the protocol
My buddies were
still being used on new
getting
devices?
was around 29. I was like,
It's a legacy
I was
code,
like,
but it's still being used.
struggling.
Most devices that are new have that option either by default or the ability to turn on that protocol, because there are many solutions that are out there from integrators that they
I didn't
need to
like
be able
over here. That's super
to
cool.
pull data from these APGs using that
Uh,
protocol.
the dude was just like
That's probably
looking at me and Rick and Marty to do it.
It was one
I think he's wanted to talk to Marty.
So I talked about it from a very high level.
I just like how to stop him like, and then just like one more time. It's like, so you live around
The
here?
device?
Yeah.
What's the function?
Yeah, the function.
Classic.
So the device has a set of sensors as their main. Keep in mind there are several brands now of devices, and there's a lot of some devices might be a lot of things that others can't. Depending on the level of integration and how they're deployed. So but the main initial functions were
I didn't want to forget about it.
and what. It's interesting because there's condensation on the sand. Your gas
Sexual
from
harassment.
big gas stations. Who did something? They also have water. Condensation. So the monitor holds still for the things. And that's very needed for a refueling person.
There's a lot of sexual harassment if you make a joke once.
Sure.
They're heated jokes.
That's
Say
the
that. Basically, if you say a joke, it doesn't
now
work.
they can control other things. They can control the actual expensive. They can control HVAC systems for ventilation management.
Talk about like retaliation. If you're to, say something, people are scared of retaliation. Just think about that one call where it was like after October 7th, they won't talk about it.
Yeah, and I saw
They won't say anything.
hospitals, big generators,
Gas stations, what comes to mind
Sure. They want anything to say.
but wherever, particularly in the US,
Jake had something to say.
whenever there's a big enough you need to have one of those installed. Environmental compliance. So another thing that they are used to things leaks. We don't want fuel leaking to the environment. And they are monitored on a timely, regular basis. So if there are leaks, there might be. So if you have a big enough fuel tank, it's like hospitals, airports, we find this in airports, military facilities, hospitals. So yeah,
So it's the compliance and regulatory.
it's a compliance component to it. Yeah, and it's usually if you think about buildings or infrastructure that needs a big backup generator, they're usually part of it.
Social media guy.
Because they need to be able to continue to function.
He does social
So,
media for.
Take me inside the research a little bit. Were the main problems the protocol itself, or the device itself, or mix of both?
Yeah. So about a protocol itself, this is a very old legacy. If you read the specifications and then you used to read like this type of documentation,
I feel weird.
you
So
understand
really
this is
serious.
something that was designed for the serial. It's a serial protocol, right? As time went by and there was this need to connect everything to the internet to be faster in the logistics process, they just, it seemed like they just grabbed the serial protocol and they put a TCP IP capability on top, like straight. What can possibly go wrong, right? You just open a serial port to the internet via an IP address. So that's one of the issues because